What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lockdown 23-1. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be entering the Georgia Department of Corrections to talk about a crazy debt collecting story, as well as California. We're going to be going to California and Delaware. That's right, I got 3 stories coming your way: California, Delaware, and Georgia. But first, let me go ahead and mention Mississippi really quick, man. I've been seeing a lot of crazy video footage and images coming from that prison. Nothing but prayers go their way, man. You know, people should not have to go into prison and worry about the shit that a lot of people have to worry about. You know, especially something that we're going to be talking about today. It's heinous. That's right, I'm going to start using the word heinous instead of treacherous for a little bit. It reminds me of what's the show? Law and Order. They always talk about heinous crimes and shit. So that's what it reminds me of. We're going to be using it, all right? This heinous debt collecting tactic in Georgia, we're going to talk about that. And other heinous crimes going on in the prison system, man. It's wild, man. Going to prison in 2020, you better be ready, because, you know, shit's going down, man. Every single day, someone's losing their life, it seems like. I'm opening up all of my prison news, and every single day, there's one guy lost a life here, lost a life there. And it ain't from natural causes either. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into story number 1, coming from Georgia. Department of Corrections, Monroe County, Georgia. Georgia Department of Corrections authorities confirmed 5 inmates have been charged in a gang waterboarding incident. According to Georgia Department of Corrections spokeswoman, the 5 inmates are housed at Al Barus Prison in Monroe County. Around 8:30 p.m. on November 17th, the 5 inmates reportedly strapped belts around the neck, hands, and feet of a fellow inmate. Authorities say they wrapped a rag around the victim's face, poured water on his face and down his nose, and proceeded to kick and punch him in his cell during this whole abduction. The attack was reportedly done in retaliation for the victim's failure to repay debts to a prison gang member of the Bloods. All right, I've seen all kinds of tactics when it comes to debt collecting, man. But for the most part, you know, they're not really physically harming these individuals unless it's just, you know, the bottom of the barrel. They ain't gonna be paying that shit, you know. If you can't pay it, they will wait forever, man. If you got money on the way or something like that, they're patient. You know, people that you owe money to, they'll be patient. They might run up on you, try to put a little fear in your heart, but for the most part, they're not gonna get physical until they know they definitely ain't getting no damn money. You know, so piece of advice, man. A piece of advice. I don't know how you want to handle your prison bid, but if you owe a debt in prison, you better keep on telling them, yeah, I got that, dog. And then you better figure out a way to get the hell up out of there, because if you can't pay it, you already know, man. You already know. But, you know, that's something I would never do. I always pay my debts, but, you know, no shame in the next man's game. You need to check the hell out. You can't pay that shit, then do it, dog. I don't give a shit. I owe a debt to a credit company out here, and I can't pay them. I ain't gonna pay them. You know, it goes the same way. I'm gonna duck them. I'm gonna bob and weave. But yeah, man, it's always best to pay your debts in full, immediately. Do not ever run anything up that you can't pay back. And y'all already know this, man. I've been telling you this since the beginning of this channel. But let this be a warning, you know, out there in Georgia, they're waterboarding fools for this shit. For a little bit of honey buns and ramens. That's what they're waterboarding cats for, you know. And guess what? These guys, all 5 inmates, are charged with false imprisonment, aggravated assault, and criminal street gang activity. All over some freaking snack foods. These guys' lives are over. I mean, yeah, they're already doing a little bit of time, but they definitely ain't getting out now. False imprisonment alone goes to, you know, that's like abduction or kidnapping. You know, that's going to carry 20 to 50, you know, alone. So these guys' lives are ruined, all because they want to waterboard someone for some damn candy and snack food. You know, I seen someone in jail. He was about to go home. I told this story before, and I'll never forget it. Guy was about to go home. He beat someone up, took his cookies. Guy pressed charges. He got like close to 10 piece for stealing cookies, and he was about to go home. He had strong arm robbery for cookies. You gotta be careful, man. A lot of jails and a lot of prisons, they give the option to these individuals if they want to press charges. Just like out here in the street, man, I came into some situations where I could have beat someone's ass. Boy, my neighbor's asses a few times. But I knew. And they were telling me to swing first this, swing first that. I'm not swinging first, dog, especially when all the neighbors are out. Not at this house, but at a past house. This is what happened. But Yeah, man, you gotta be very careful because people are gonna press charges nowadays. It ain't just the streets, it's prison as well, man. Dudes is pressing charges nowadays, man. So be very careful on who you put your hands on in lockup. Next on the list is California. Inmate killed in a fight at Central California prison. Sacramento, California inmate was killed in a fight at a California prison. The victim was found unresponsive December 31st. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Department said in a statement he died at the scene. Investigators determined the man was injured during an altercation in the shower area of a barracks. Nicholas Calerges, hopefully I pronounced that appropriately, was arrested on Friday on charges related to this investigation. Well, this just goes to show you, people are still losing their lives, even going into 2020. This guy lost his life in a shower, and they said it was over a fight. They're not mentioning any kind of weapons or stabbings took place. It very well could have possibly just been done with the dude's hands. Now, ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, this is a crazy one, I must say. South Carolina prison escapee captured. Dover, Delaware. Dover Downs, boy, the casino, I lit their ass up too. Dover Downs, Dover, Delaware. A South Carolina inmate who escaped in 1979 is headed back to prison after 4 decades. The South Carolina Department of Corrections announced in a news release Thursday that the arrest of Jose Chico Romero, who's now 64 years old. Romero was arrested in Dover, Delaware on December 28th using a fake identity and was later released. Police in Delaware were able to later correctly identify Romero through fingerprints and arrested him again on Wednesday, January 1st, the first day of 2020. This guy's been on the run for 40 years. 40 years he's been on the run. He ain't been committing no crimes as far as paperwork goes. He ain't been getting no fresh charges or anything. He's remained crime-free, or he just hasn't gotten caught doing anything. But he was serving an 18-year sentence for an armed robbery when he escaped from a work release assignment on December 13th, 1979. Once returned to South Carolina, Romero will have to serve the remaining 7 years of his original sentence plus an additional time added for an escape conviction. Should this man go back to prison? Yeah, he ran out on about 8 years worth left of time to do, but this man's been out for 4 decades. Not commit no crimes, just living life, and he got a DUI, a drunk in public in a bar and got arrested. He's probably been drinking in Delaware for 40 years. Ain't nobody went to the local pub to check him out. Nobody. But yeah, what do you think? You think if the guy went on the run for 4 decades, gets caught up, do you think they should make him finish his time? I want to say no, but I want to say yes, because, if that was the case, and everyone would escape and just stay on the run for 40 years knowing that the judge ain't going to give them their time back, But at the same time, 40 years crime-free, shit, that should show you that the dude ain't that damn bad, He probably shouldn't need a whole 7-piece back. He seems somewhat normal. He went 40 years without getting no trouble. I don't know, man. I'm going to leave that up in the comment section for y'all to discuss. I love hearing y'all's replies as well, but the other day I played Monopoly with my children, right? That's right, Monopoly. And it's a ladies' version of Monopoly. So that means the men get less money than the girls. They get $240 for pass and go. I get freaking $200. What kind of bullshit is that? We ain't got no damn man version of Monopoly that gives the men more money. I don't understand it, man. But yeah, I taught my kids a valuable lesson in Monopoly the other day. I play with my kids. I love my kids. I baby them to death, but there's certain times where I try to teach them a lesson. I try to teach them a life lesson. I did through Monopoly, I was smoking their boots. That's right. Old Death was smoking the hell out of everybody's boots. Brittany's, Miley, and Kaylee were all playing Monopoly. They're all getting their boots smoked. I'm rolling all the best numbers, getting the best property. They're hating on me. All 3 of them are hating on me. Kaylee forgets to pay a debt to Brittany, and Brittany says, "You're just like your dad." It was a joke, but still, it's funny as hell. But yeah, before we started the whole Monopoly game, because I can't stand cheaters, right? I can't stand cheaters in Monopoly. I used to play Monopoly back in the day with my friends and in prison, with some lifers I used to play. And someone's always stealing from the bank. Always stealing from the damn bank. They skim an extra 500 or whatever the case is, or they don't pay their debt to the free parking thing, whatever the case is. There's always someone stealing or cheating in Monopoly. I ain't got time for that shit. So I told my kids and Brittany that if I'm gonna play this game with y'all, I am gonna be the overlord. I'm the banker, I'm the property management. I am the one who reads the chance and community chest cards. Everything is done by the overlord, which is me of Monopoly. That's right. So they agreed, man, and I was making sure everything was going as it should. No cheating going on, nothing. And as the game unfolds, I'm just teaching my kids life lessons left and right, But my kids seen a different side of me, right? I'm shaking the dice like I'm in prison, man, about to shoot CeeLo or something. I'm shaking the dice, playing with them on the Monopoly board. My kids looking at me in astonishment. I'm like, ha ha ha, 5, 6, or 9, 5, 6, or 9, and boom, 9. I'm rolling all the right numbers. I'm getting all the right property, and they're all looking at me like, man, you're cheating us. I'm not cheating you, you little young punks. I didn't say that to them, but that's, I could have. And I was teaching them all kinds of lessons, man. Like when I landed on their property and they didn't notice and they picked up the dice and rolled, kiss your rent goodbye. You should have noticed I was on your property. And then I'm like, ooh, sorry, I didn't have to pay you. And they're like, oh, no, let me get my money, Nope, can't do it. Can't do it. Sorry, Kaylee Buggy. I can't pay you. You should have been paying attention to who's on your property. So that's another life lesson right there. You got to keep tabs on the people that are paying rent, Don't let it go past you on that month. That was another life lesson I taught them. What else? At the very end, because Miley lost first, then Brittany, and then it was just me and Kaylee. Kaylee had a lot of money, but she didn't have no property. She kept hitting free parking and all kinds of stuff. But she had a lot of money. She didn't have too much property, right? So, and Kaylee, man, she is a sore loser. I'm not talking about get mad. She cries if she loses. So finally, she lands on my property. And I got like hotels on the shit. And this is like the third time back to back that she's landed on my property, right? And I cut her a break the last time. I said, just, because she was 100 short. And she rolled the dice again and she landed on my property again. She looks at me. I said, ooh, that's $660, Kaylee, sorry. And she looks at me with a tear in her eye. She goes, I don't have no money. I said, you might have to sell some property, Kaylee. I don't know what to tell you. So she started selling property, gave me my money, and then she landed on my shit like 3 rolls later. That was the end of the game. Oh, Death won that shit. But for the most part, I let my kids win just about anything and everything. But Monopoly, boy, I was out for blood with that shit. I got them Operation, Monopoly, a bunch of board games for Christmas. I always get them a bunch of board games, but they're like girl versions. Believe it or not, they sell a lot of girl version board games. But I didn't give them no electronics besides a Siri for Christmas. I actually took their cell phones from them. And, they just were too young to handle it. So things seem to be going a lot better, man. Spending a lot more quality time since I took those phones away from them. I think between 10 and 13 is the right age to start giving them electronics and phones. But that's just my opinion. Just my opinion. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. Check out all the links in the description of the video. Add me up on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. Go buy yourself some Lockdown 23-in-1 merchandise off of Teespring. Help support the channel. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I salute to every last one of you who've been supporting me since the beginning. And everyone who's just now joining the Lockdown compound. Y'all be easy, be safe, and stay free.